Hey everyone, welcome back. It has been a few days since I've posted, and the reason for that being after 2 years of being able to avoid it, I finally caught COVID. And thankfully, because I'm vaccinated and everything, it was very mild. It's only been a couple days, but I'm pretty much almost already over it. Just got a little bit of a cough and everything. But it was still no picnic. I still had chills and a fever and all that fun crap. And I had to mask in my own home so not to infect my children, who thankfully have not shown any signs or symptoms of it. But I wanted to jump right back into it. I am actually going to be working home from home the next couple days, so maybe I'll have a little bit more time to do some stuff. But I wanted to start off by reviewing a game that has been out for about a month now, but it is a definite part of my childhood. It's got that nostalgia and retro stuff to it. It is the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I downloaded it today and played it on my PS5, and I've got to say it's pretty fucking awesome. It is that classic smash 'em up game where you just go through the little levels and you just beat up everything in your path. And because it's got that retro vibe, it's just got it brings back so many memories of me playing the Turtles arcade game back in the early '90s at the mall and everything, and it's part of why I bought a couple of those arcade one-up arcade machines because of just that retro vibe that you get from these machines. Because it truly was a great time to be alive in the early '90s and through the mid '90s and everything, where everything was so much simpler and just it wasn't so complicated. Basically, everything was just so much more fun, and that's what you get with this game. But without yammering on too much more, let's just jump right into it. I wanted to start off by showing the opening intro to the game. If a lot of you who play this game are familiar with the early '90s cartoon, you're going to really recognize this right off the bat. So let's get right into that. Let's jump into the opening intro for Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in the hot shell. I mean, right there you got the opening intro. There's the exact same as the old cartoon. Yes, there's a little bit more in there, but you got that classic Ninja Turtles theme, and it really takes you back if you're like me and you grew up in the early '90s and you got all this classic cartoon with a little touch of today's technology and everything into it. It does a lot. It immediately, that was worth the money that I paid to download it on my PS5, honestly. But yeah, that was the opening, just the opening for the game. And like I said, I thought that was worth the whole $25 that I spent to download it to my PS5. Because unfortunately, there's just not a lot of PS5 games out there that are worth anything right now. You know, it's just a lot of stuff has been affected by the pandemic and, just things not being in production. And we're just not seeing a whole lot of good games come out in the PS5. But the good thing about this game in particular is that it can be up to 6 players. You can have your 4 local players on one system, or you can go online and play up to 6 players at a time. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. So you got 4 different formats to play it on. And it's just a great game. I've only played through a few levels, but it also, the best part of it is because of its simplicity, that it's something that my daughter can play with me. She really enjoys playing these types of games, especially if she can play with me, because she loves to hang out with me, and to see her getting into the same things that I loved as a kid is really a treat. And it's something that I hope she can continue to enjoy, because we do see a lot of these retro things coming back. Like I said earlier, I own a couple of those arcade one-up machines, and my daughter loves those. She plays those more than I do. I have X-Men vs. Street Fighter and The Simpsons, and I have thought about getting the Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time arcade version of that too, because she wants to play that. She's really gotten into these games, and she plays the crap out of them. And then I got my 2-year-old son who's right behind her, who wants to climb up on a stool and be able to do that too. So, it's definitely something worth checking out if you grew up with this. It's offers, like I said, a lot of that nostalgia, a lot of that retro, where it's something that's really coming back because people are, I think, just kind of, I don't know, grasping or craving for that simpler time in the early 90s. And a lot of the 80s stuff is getting popular again, where we just don't have that anymore because I'm sorry to say that any like Saturday morning cartoons, even though a lot of them don't exist anymore, you don't have that lineup that you would have back in the day. A lot of the cartoons that they put out now are just absolute garbage, and they don't teach your kids anything. They just, it's the same crap over and over, and just, it does not, it's a lot of it I don't let my kids watch because it's so fucking terrible. It just adds no moral lessons, no, teaching to be a decent human being. And say what you want about those old cartoons from, like I said, the 90s, the 80s, they'd had those hidden little messages that would teach someone to try to be a decent person at least. And you just cannot find that in today's cartoons. And just a lot of them are just ridiculous and poor acting, poor animation, and just, like I said, I don't care for a lot of them. But going back to the game, you will, if this is your thing, you will definitely fall in love with this game. The gameplay itself is very similar to what it was back in the day on the old arcade machines. It's a little bit more, caught up with the time that it is now. It's not that 8-bit or 16-bit, but it's very similar. The gameplay, you just got that one camera angle where you just march into the level, just beating up everything in your path, and then you get to the boss at the end of the level, and you got the blinking red when you're on the verge of dying or the boss is on the verge of dying. It's just, like I said, it has a lot of that back in the day feel, and for me who grew up with that kind of stuff, it really sets well because you really find yourself, as you get older, you crave that kind of stuff because things are not that simple anymore. And not only because it is it's got that classic feel to it, it also has all the classic characters. You got all 4 original Ninja Turtles, you got Splinter, you got April, and you do have Casey Jones. All are playable characters. Some, like Casey Jones, you have to beat the game to access. But it's also got the classic villains that you don't see in a lot of the new iterations of Ninja Turtles that we get, aside from Shredder. You got Krang, you got Rat King, you got Bebop and Rocksteady. You have all these classic cartoon characters that we just don't see because they found ways to replace them or they're just not the most popular. But being, a 90s kid that grew up with these characters, watching these cartoons every Saturday morning or whenever the hell they were on, it's something that is, it's good to see. It's good to see they bring back all these original characters, and you get to, like I said, you get to play all these characters are playable. Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, Splinter, April, and Casey Jones, I believe, is playable after you beat the game. And I think there might be some other characters you can unlock, but it is just good to see all these classic characters that you just don't see a lot in the new versions that are spit out at us today, because you just, I don't know, you can kind of let go and be a kid again in the sense, reliving these types of games because they don't come out with a lot of these games anymore. And like I said before, it is also nice to be able to see my daughter enjoy these kinds of games, my son enjoy these kinds of games, and just being able to sit there and play with them and just have a good time, basically. But anyways, that is pretty much my review of this game. I definitely recommend anybody that grew up with this kind of stuff to check it out because I think you'll love it. First off, it has a lot of great reviews, and you could do the old school, 4-person co-op where you can have, you and a few of your buddies or your family or whatever sit down and enjoy this game. And it can be just like it was, when we were kids, and it was all just a better time to be alive, in my opinion. And it's just a great time. So, anyways, that is my breakdown. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the content. And if my channel is something you think you could, keep coming back for more, please subscribe. Please leave comments. Leave any kind of review because any kind of feedback really does help the video and helps the channel and helps me bring you better quality content. I'm getting out of breath because I'm still fucking recovering. But all in all, great game, and I've only played a handful of levels, and I hope that you can take this and go check it out for yourself because it's definitely worth it. So until next time, I thank you for coming to check out my video and my channel, and I'll see you later.